Mandelson failed the vetting. And despite that, despite it being known that his appointment would pose a risk to national security, somehow he was appointed anyway. Someone pushed that appointment through. The Prime Minister is now asking us to believe that no one in government thought to tell him or his team that Mandelson had failed vetting, that the first he heard about it was on Tuesday night. This is preposterous. He is taking the public for fools. We know that Number 10 was told that Mandelson had failed his vetting because journalists told them in September last year. This leaves us with two possibilities. Either the Prime Minister is lying, or he is so incompetent that he is unfit to run the country. Either way, his position is untenable. As this scandal has unravelled, he has sought to pin the blame on everyone but himself. He has blamed the security services. He has sacked his chief of staff. He has sacked the cabinet secretary. He has now sacked Ollie Robbins, the permanent secretary of the Foreign Office. All this from a man who once said, "I will carry the can for the mistakes of any organisation I lead." The reality is, he is undermining the very fabric that underpins government. He likes to present himself as a man of spotless integrity. This, remember, is a Prime Minister who spent his entire time in opposition telling people that he was whiter than white, telling the country that the rules mattered, that standards mattered, that misleading Parliament mattered. But who, once in office, has repeatedly put his own self-interest above the national interest. A man who has tried to cling on to his job, whatever the cost. He is so blinded by faith in his own righteousness that he cannot see what everyone else in the country can see. That this is a national disgrace. The buck stops with him, and the only decent response is to resign. Can you imagine what he would think about this national security breach if this was anyone else? Do we really think that Keir Starmer would say, "Oh, all right then, that's fair enough"? Or do we think he would say, "It is your job to know whether or not Peter Mandelson failed his vetting. It is your job not to appoint people who pose a risk to this country to the highest roles in our diplomatic service"? He would say it is your job not to repeatedly mislead Parliament. It is my job, as leader of the opposition, to hold the Prime Minister to account. He cannot deny that he has recklessly misled the House. He cannot deny that this is his unforgivable failure. How could the former chief prosecutor not have asked basic questions about what went wrong in this appointment? He cannot hide behind the line, "Don't blame me, I'm just the Prime Minister." He said it himself. If you mislead Parliament, you must resign. Those were his standards in opposition. They must be his standards now. The fact is, none of this would have come to light without the work of the Conservatives in opposition. While Nigel Farage was calling Peter Mandelson a good choice as ambassador, Conservative MPs like Ian Duncan-Smith were raising concerns. I asked the Prime Minister about Mandelson's vetting all the way back at PMQs in September. It was the Conservatives who stopped the government from brushing this under the carpet with urgent question after urgent question in Parliament. It was the Conservatives who had to drag the government through a humble address to His Majesty to get the Mandelson files to be released. It's even being reported this week that the government was considering hiding the fact that Mandelson failed the vetting from the release of the files. Every time they have come up with a new excuse, it has left us with more questions than answers. The stench of cover-up is now overwhelming.